Hi everyone, Nathan from Ecommerce Uncovered here. I thought today we'd talk a little bit about who you should take advice from. Clearly there's an awful lot of people online who will sell you their plan on how to get rich, how to quit your job, how to find the perfect partner, all these kinds of things. And it's very difficult to know who's a scam artist and who's the real deal. And to be honest, it's very difficult, I don't know where you are or who you are or how you've come across this video, for example. And I can't really convince you that Tess and I actually do live the life that we live. Obviously, we like to put up photos and things of cafes where we usually are every day and living that kind of life, but you don't know. We could be born wealthy, we could be lying through our teeth. There could be a lot of reasons why maybe we're not to be trusted. And there's not really any way I can convince you otherwise until you actually meet us. Obviously, we mentor quite a few people and they've actually met us. They see us living the life that we say that we are going to live, and they've decided to trust us. So this is where it gets really difficult, because I guess Tess and I are both of the opinion that you don't take advice from someone who isn't living the life that you want to live. And that's a tricky thing. Just because somebody drives a Ferrari doesn't necessarily mean you should take financial advice from them. There are ways to make money in this world that are not necessarily going to make you a successful person. If you've had to give up, if you've gone through 3 divorces and your kids won't speak to you to earn the kind of money that you need to live, this successful looking life driving a Ferrari, then not only can I certainly not take relationship advice from you, but I can't even really take financial advice from you because I don't want to live that life. And the way that you've earned money, unfortunately, has led to perhaps what I personally would call an unsuccessful life. You might differ on that opinion, and that's certainly your prerogative. So you have to find this balance between finding people that you think you can trust, because you don't really know what's going on behind the scenes of somebody's life, and those that you can't trust. And that's, to be honest, a tricky thing. So it's not a perfect world. You can't ever find the truth behind everybody's life. Sometimes you do have to, I hate using the term, use your gut and sometimes people you just click with and you think, okay, this person resonates with me and they seem to be living the life that I would like to live, so therefore I am going to take advice from them. One guy that I really like listening to is Jim Rohn. Unfortunately, he's passed away. But he just seemed to have lived the life that I like. He made a lot of money early on, lost it all, managed to make it all back again, so that says something about his character. And then he went on to make a lot of money from telling people, I guess, becoming a personal development speaker, or maybe some people might call him a motivational speaker. But again, he didn't set out to be that. That just seemed to happen naturally, where people asked him to tell his story, and then people started saying, hey, we'll pay you to come and tell your story, and his life kind of went on from that. He seemed to have a good family life, and so to me that's the kind of person that you want to take advice from. So again, but I never knew Jim. Maybe it was all a lie, maybe it was all fake. It doesn't seem to me to be the case, and I can't tell you whether or not you should be listening to us. That's something that you're going to have to decide, and you're going to either pay the price if we're lying to you, and maybe we'll be able to help you out if we're not. All I would say, and this is what Jim would say too, is never be a follower, be a student. So in other words, don't take anything that I say for granted, or Tess or anybody else. Don't just say, oh, I like these guys, so I'm just going to follow them. Be a student. Have a listen to what we say, have a listen to what some other people say that seem to be successful or living the life that you want, and see if you can find any things that correlates, things that might be similar between the two or across a range of different people, and go from there and make up your own mind. And to be honest, when it comes to e-commerce and business, I think part of the reason we've been successful is, and this was a hard-earned lesson, was that you kind of have to take control of things. When we got spanked many years ago by Google, it was because we I couldn't be bothered learning about search engine optimization. It just seemed all too difficult and all tricky, and everyone had all these opinions. And I thought, well, if we just get a well-reviewed, a trusted SEO company, they can take care of it for us, and it makes sense, right? It seems to make logical sense. Why wouldn't you go to a professional to do these things? But the reality is even though they had great reviews and things, they were using techniques that just flat out weren't kosher, and we paid the price for it. And it was when we started, okay, we're going to learn for ourselves. We're going to become a student of a variety of different techniques. We're going to learn for ourselves what works. And once we've learned what actually works, then we can outsource it. And that's really what changed our business life and our success. Was actually going, okay, we are going to learn this stuff. We have to. If we want to have the level of success that we want, at some point we have to upskill ourselves. We have to learn these things and not just keep hoping that somebody else will teach us and we'll just keep following this person and do what they say, or we're going to hire this person because they seem like an expert. So you definitely want to take advice, but just be careful who you take it from. Be aware that you can never 100% know whether or not it's going to be good advice, so you need to test it for yourself. You need to, if you want to do this, if you want to start a business that's actually going to allow you to quit your job and live an amazing life that you want, then you're going to have to learn some new skills. There's probably a reason why you're at where you're at now, and it's great that you see, okay, now I want something new, but you're going to have to learn some new skills to do that, and it's going to be scary at times, and there's not really any way to avoid that. Just understand that once you've learned those skills, then actually you sort of get up to speed with what's happening, say, in e-commerce or SEO. It's actually much easier to then just keep moving when things change. Whereas if you're just coming, I don't know whether you're coming from a background as a bricklayer and now you're trying to become an online marketing expert, that's a huge shift. But once you make that shift and you see some success, then actually all you're doing from then on is tweaking. And if you think about that, if you've got maybe another 30, 40 years of your life left to go, gee, why wouldn't you want to get up to speed as soon as you possibly can, and then just live the life that you want, and all you've got to do then is just keep tweaking your skills along, as opposed to having this enormous learning curve that you have initially. So definitely get advice. I'm definitely not saying don't get advice, you've got to do that, but also take on board that you're going to have to be responsible for what you do, responsible for the action that you take, responsible for who you're actually listening to, but that the rewards at the end of it all, absolutely totally worth it, totally worth it. So I'll leave you with that, and wish you all the best.